universe, the Tom and Alex Off the Rails, our first ever ninth episode.
Episode 9, live from the Beekeeper Studios in West Dallas with Mark Majewski.
Yeah.
Hello.
The Magic Man.
Sure,
that'll work.
I feel that's a blatant steal of Majewski.
Oh,
the old Magic Man.
You're walking a fine line there, buddy, with Green Bay Packer quarterbacks.
Hey, I know how to make a sandwich, dude.
All right.
Majewski, Rogers.
All right, well, Mark, tell us what you do a little bit.
I am a projectionist at a movie theater, at an independent one-screen little place.
Okay.
Yeah. I am that creepy guy up in the shadows you see when the movie's playing.
Yeah?
I've been doing it for about 10 years, so
Okay.
a couple of years ago everyone went digital, but I started before then, so I knew how to actually handle the old film and
Okay.
lace it up in the projector, but now it's all computers. It's just bloop, bloop, bloop.
All right, that's the Rivoli in Cedarburg, and we got some questions about that later. But first, let's get on to our first rant, and let's talk a little bit about the Matt Lauer situation. What have you heard?
I still don't know what he did.
They're not saying right now what
He has
they
a
did.
box of toys in his office.
Really?
Sexy toys.
Okay.
Interesting.
The latest I read, because it's changing every day, is like he oogled someone's breasts. And he apologized now and said that a lot of it's not true, but there is enough truth. But I did read that one of the, like, speaking of the sex toys in his desk, he tried to ask the maintenance guy if there was a way that he could install a system where there was a button that locked the door behind people when they came in.
I thought he did have it.
He did have it?
He did have it. That was half the problem, is he'd have female coworkers come in and he'd lock the door on them.
Wow.
That's pretty creepy.
But if you're going to do that, make sure it's really loud. Like,
How does someone get so prominent in a business
film.
where
He
their boss
obviously-
lets them do that?
He said keep bending over like that because he thought that they had cut, and they didn't.
oh.
So it was still rolling, and all of one city got him saying that, harassing Katie Couric.
Nice.
Of all people
Wow.
to harass.
And he made someone quit because he harassed her so much, and she ended up quitting. And it was because of him.
Oh, Universe, this is repeat guest here, Susan Majewski. She's back in the background.
You can't hear me.
Yeah, no, you're getting there.
I can hear you a little bit.
So, what the hell's going on? Is it just the change of times now?
It's such an awkward topic as a man to talk about.
Right.
Because you don't want to say anything that will make you the a-hole in the room.
Because
No one wants to defend.
everything's just easier for us. We don't have to deal with these problems.
Well, yeah, my knee-jerk reaction is, can him, and let's move on. But we're canning everybody. We're running out of people to do things.
Yeah. Well, because these women will come out and say shit in the 80s, but in the 80s, it wasn't sexual harassment at the time. But now you say it today and you get fired for something you did 40 years ago that the lady was okay with.
Well, I don't know if this is going to make me sound like a jerk, but I was always under the impression it was harassment after they told you to stop.
Okay.
If you didn't know it was unwanted,
Yeah.
if you think you're just flirting, it's not a problem until they say, hey, quit.
Yeah, the line between
Yeah.
flirting and harassing
Because
is...
we're big dumb men and we need to know when we've gone too far.
Well, I think that line can be drawn too, depending how good looking you are.
Yes.
A woman likes when you hit on them, if you're handsome. If she's already made the decision to fuck you, then, I can say something that maybe an ugly person can't say. I'm getting weird looks from the women. You don't have that?
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
See,
no matter what we say, we're going to come off as weird or pervy or defending a weird pervert.
I just
So if Magic Mike comes up to you, Molly, and says nice tits, you're going to be fine with it. But if some homeless bum says nice tits, you're going to be offended.
Who smells?
No, I don't think so. I think if it's a pervy comment, it's a pervy comment. It doesn't matter what you look like.
I think the big problem is it's happening in the workplace.
that's a problem.
Yeah, like when you go to the bar, you always hear women complain about being hit on at the bar, but that's why men go to bars, to hit on women. So it's like, it's the environment
that's why
for
they
it.
don't, like, if you get hit on in a bar, I don't think a lot of times women will report that because you're at a bar. But
what
when
you
you're
do.
in the workplace, a lot of times the reason why these things were never reported is when you're underneath them, you don't know if you report it, are you going to lose your job? Are they going to pull something else out of the woodwork and say, oh, I'm sorry, you don't get that promotion. So it puts them in a really tough spot if it's a superior who shouldn't be making comments about their employees anyway.
Especially in such a competitive field as like being an on-air personality, where if you just piss off someone who's above you, they could crush your career like that.
Mm-hmm.
I go to bars to talk to my friends.
Okay.
I don't know about everybody else. And I'm always just been with just how my personality is. Just somebody says no, fucking no. All right.
Well, what do you guys think about since it's become so super hypersensitive that any woman who doesn't like her boss can just say something and they're immediately terminated?
That is almost the bigger crime because it belittles legitimate accusations.
Yeah.
Because it's like crying wolf. If someone is doing because they don't like their boss, I'm gonna take my boss down. I'm gonna say something that'll get him that he did something to me and get him fired.
Yeah.
And now that once that's found out that you lied, that is going to now cause us to second guess every other claim that comes forward, and that is the real crime.
Yeah.
That now it's where we can have 100% faith in these accusations.
I'm such a big fan of fact-based thinking that this is one of those things like when Mark alluded to earlier where this is kind of a knee-jerk reaction thing, so they're trying to get rid of a problem. But in an instance like that, like, how do you create a process that's fact-based to prove all these things when somebody just says something like that, an accusation of that magnitude?
Well, I got a story from someone that I'm not going to name, but she was in a workplace and two guys were just, joshing each other back and forth, and a different lady heard it. And they weren't even saying anything about that lady. And she reported it. And the two guys, they were making some flamboyant, stuff like guys do. They had to go to like sexual harassment training and get written up. And even though some third party just overheard it.
Yep. I've been working in the movie theater business. I've had a lot of teenagers working for me. And they say, and whatever pops into their head, if it's the most inappropriate thing, some of them have walkie-talkies, and now every usher in the 12-screen movie theater is now blaring off some stupid comment about, I won't even say it, but,
Yeah.
That's a bit hypocritical that all these guys are, getting fired and they're going after him for comments when you do have a legitimate case like that case last year with the two guys who caught the kid from California raping the girl by the dumpster.
yes, he was a collegiate swimmer, I want to say.
He was prosecuted. He did 3 months and got out on probation.
Yeah, he should still be in jail.
So you have all these people really getting canned from their jobs, all this, over a comment, but yet here you have a legitimate case and no one's doing anything about it. So I think that there's an issue there. There's a disconnect.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. And I guess Matt Lauer's wife has gone back to the Netherlands.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
She and Tiger Woods' wife, right? Ex-wife.
Yeah, ex-wife. He deleted all his social media. But, I don't know. So, we'll see what happens. More stuff's coming out every day. And I'm sure by next week, 10 more men will be fired.
Lauer will be old news.
Garrison Keillor.
Yeah. The biggest wet blanket that ever existed.
You talk about an ugly guy. No offense, Garrison Keillor.
Yeah.
He's really not attractive.
No, he's tall, he's lanky, he jokes about how hideous he is.
They're not going to play Prairie Home Companion, and he's a huge comedian in the Midwest. I mean, he's written tons of books. Everybody's pulling his books off the shelves because apparently there's a long history of him, going after things, but it was never said because he was a big name and not attractive.
Not attractive.
Not at all.
Just saying.
So, all right. That'll cover Matt Lauer. Let's revisit a story we... Oh, hold on. Vanna White. Boom. She's leaving.
Really?
Yep. She's going to go promote skincare.
I just watched The Wheel on Thursday with my uncle.
I think they only keep her around anyway because she doesn't have to spin a letter anymore. She just touches something.
Touchscreen.
You could have somebody working that on the...
How long has she been doing that?
Long time.
I can't think of a time when it wasn't Vanna White.
I think around the time we were born.
Well, it looks like her and Pat Sajak never get older either.
Right. They look
How do they do that?
phenomenal for their
Professional makeup.
Yeah. Okay. So we're losing Vanna White. Sorry. Check her out. She did Playboy. She's cool.
She's kind of iconic.
In what year?
I think like 1955. But she still looks identical. DNR infant story. Let's revisit that. Last week we talked about how they eliminated the age for how old you have to be to buy a gun. Or not buy a gun, but go deer hunting. And this year the DNR has admitted that they have sold 10 tags to infants. Now.
And the problem is?
The problem is, this guy has 2 buck tags and I don't.
So you want the tags, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but I don't have an infant.
Is the infant pulling the trigger?
Yeah, that's where the problem lies. Like,
is an infant even capable of that?
I'm not sure you really need... No, there's no way.
No.
So it's really just dad has extra tags?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that seems a little cheap.
Yeah. Okay.
I couldn't even pull the string back on a full tested bow until I was like 10. Okay. And I don't hunt, but still, like, a kid's not going to be shooting guns and...
Well, the youngest kid to register was 4 years old. He registered a deer. He got more deer this year than me. A 4-year-old out-hunted me. I have to live with that.
Well, legally, he's hunting with an adult, right?
Yeah.
It's not just some 4-year-old wandering through the forest with a rifle.
Well, they've lessened the laws so much that you don't even need your gun in a case anymore. You can party hunt where, say, Molly and I are next to each other and I don't have a tag. I can still shoot her deer and she registers them.
But it's 1 deer per tag, though, right?
Yeah.
The party bought 5 tags. The one person shoots all 5. But
well, no, everybody shows up with their tags and everybody can shoot each other's tags.
Yeah. Well, it's a problem. You bought the right to a deer and you're passing that right on to a friend.
You need the thing with you, and it's going to be child abuse if it's 20 below zero and you got your infant in a tree stand in the woods.
So these parents are taking their little children out into the woods just to get extra tags.
Oh, that's the only legal way they could do it. I'm sure their infant is at home with mom and they're just in the woods because it's so easy now. To register a deer, you literally look at your tag, you call a number, you punch in the number, and the deer is registered.
Isn't there like hunter safety requirement that everyone has to take? Because that would weed out your 4-year-olds.
When you can take hunter safety?
I'm not sure because you get a DNR number when you buy a fishing license, and there is no age limit on that.
Hunter safety.
Yeah, they lowered it to 10 and now they got rid of it. Because when Molly went through, didn't you have like 5 and 6-year-old kids in there? Or how young were they?
I think the 10 was probably the youngest when I went.
Okay.
I'm fine with a 10-year-old hunter as long as he's taking proper safety courses.
Have you guys been around 10-year-olds?
Well, they would theoretically fail the safety course.
10-year-old? Do you know their attention span? Ask go into a middle school and ask, 10-year-old. So not even a middle school, elementary school. Go up to a 5th grade boy and ask them just basic questions and see the maturity. Now put a gun in their hands? Like, yikes.
Well, I knew guys in middle school who were bagging deer. How old were you, Tom or Alex, when you got your first deer?
I was 16. I went out, but I was just not good because I'm a dumbass 12-year-old in the woods. Don't know anything yet.
Kablam!
The fuck?
I only fish.
Yeah, I don't hunt. It's not something I care about. I have no problem with people hunting, but it's not for me.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah.
I think with hunter safety, you gotta be so careful. And that's speaking from a family member who's gotten injured in a hunting accident pretty seriously.
Ooh.
And you don't mess with it.
Safety is paramount.
Yeah.
I would even go as far as it should be like single action, bolt action rifles. None of these like semi-automatic things. You get one shot at the deer. That's what you get.
For 8 years. And he was with the guy who shot him he had been hunting. He was in his 40s, so he had been hunting all of his life. And he's still, like, basic hunter safety things. You gotta be so careful. 10-year-old.
Well, once a deer gets in front of you, you get cranked on, and you throw all the rules out the window. You just
off your instinct.
That's how it happens.
Was that you who told me about muzzle loading hunting?
Yeah.
See, that sounds awfully sporting.
It's going on right now.
Why don't we just make it only muzzle loading hunting?
Because then nobody would kill the deer.
Oh, if that's the only way you can kill a deer, people will learn how to muzzle load a rifle.
Yeah. My dad used to have a muzzle loader. Couldn't hit shit with it.
Well, that's why you have to get your party. 10 people lined up like it's the Civil War. You all shoot at the same deer.
Yep.
Someone's bound to hit it.
All right, well, let's move on to our local event. I got kind of a cool one. Oh, we can talk about the Toys for Tots. That's always nice. November 22nd through December 8th at the City Center. Go give some kids some toys. That'll be cool.
Yeah, buying something cool. Spider-Man.
Yeah, don't just get the cheap shit.
Yeah, put a sweet action figure in there for little Tommy or something.
Yeah. All right. Ugly Sweater Party at the Monarch Lounge inside the Hilton. It's going on every Friday from the 24th to the December 22nd. And the competition starts at 7 p.m. and you get a chance to win a $150 gift card to the Milwaukee Chop House. And the runner-up will get a $50 gift card to the Monarch Lounge. I have won 2 ugly sweater competitions.
Were they real ugly sweaters or were they like screen printed?
No. Well, the first one I won, I found, Alex, I gave it to you with my fur vest.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Fur?
at
Like,
real reindeer fur. It was hot as fuck.
you shot a reindeer?
No. There was this, we were at St. Vinny's or something, maybe a Goodwill, and they had a 2-piece fur suit. So, yeah, fur coat. Well, one is just the vest, and the other part of it is like a black jacket with fur arms. You got to put the vest over it to make it look like one fur coat.
Nice. Think of like Hagrid from Harry Potter. Think of his like hairy vest, only a lighter color. It was kind of like that.
So is that like one Chewbacca mask away from us faking a Bigfoot sighting?
Basically, yeah.
Well, it was expensive, so I only bought the vest part. So now Goodwill's sitting there with just a fur arm coat. It was like $30. Like, I guess. Oh, but it was like so fucking hot. I didn't realize. I thought it was funny when I wore it, and I'm just sweating.
Instantly regret it.
Like, oh my God, this is why people wore fur. It kept them warm. It did its job. And then the second one, I just found an old sweater vest that my mom had, and I rocked it with no sleeves.
Of course.
Yep. I won stupid Bucks game tickets.
Oh, as when you went to the box.
The best part about the entire game was, well, let's play a game. Let's guess. We'll go around the room. What Uncle Tom paid $5 to have a homeless guy do?
Is this outside the arena?
It was outside the arena.
Well, you were there, Alex.
I was not.
You guess first. You know Tom the best?
I'm going to go off of one of my own personal experiences from being in some of Milwaukee's finer areas and say that you paid him $5 to sit by your vehicle and play lookout man.
No, I thought you were going to say stop jacking off. Yeah, what do you got?
Knowing you, make them, I don't know, drink something? Chug something?
Okay. I paid a homeless man $5 to play Careless Whisper on his saxophone.
Oh, he had a saxophone.
He had a
Lovely.
saxophone.
Okay.
That was
See the guy outside of Miller Park all the time?
Is he? No.
Well, where my brother parks in the parking lot that we walk under the overpass, and there's always a guy playing The Simpsons
We were
theme song.
at the Bradley Center, so.
Could be the same guy. We don't know.
See? 1,000 guesses you'd never guess. I paid a homeless guy to play Careless Whisper on a saxophone. I still got the video.
The only song he knows is The Simpsons. So it couldn't be the same guy.
He's been doing it for years, so clearly it works.
I paid a guy when I went to the rave, I think in I'm going to say 99 or 2000. I parked right by the McDonald's, right off of Wisconsin Avenue, and I paid a homeless guy $1 and a beer, and he sat right next to my car the whole night to make sure nobody fucked with my car.
Oh, that's good. All right.
Buck and a beer, dude.
Buck and a beer. Your car's safe. Well, safe as the homeless.
So he was there when you came back?
Yeah, sitting right where I left him.
Oh, that's loyal. How come he doesn't have a job? He's good at it. So
So
whatever he's driven.
We had a few beers left, and we gave him all the beer.
Good.
Thanks, man.
There you go.
Don't drink it all at once.
Yeah.
All right, let's do interview time. All right, we're here with Mark Majewski. Is that how you prefer the pronunciation?
Sure.
Majewski? You don't care?
That's how I use it in common usage. I went to Polish Fest a couple years ago, and apparently it's Majewski, but we've been saying Majewski for so long, we're going to stick with it.
Okay. Well, tell us about the Rivoli and what you do there.
Well, the Rivoli is a small one-screen theater downtown Cedarburg. It's mostly staffed by volunteers. It's a common misconception that everyone there is a volunteer. I am paid. I am on the clock. I'm the projectionist. When you walk in and you see people selling you tickets, they're volunteers. Someone selling you popcorn, they're volunteers. I'm the guy who gets everything ready for the volunteers.
Okay.
I restock when they leave, when they're done, and I clean up after the movie.
Okay.
So I'm a glorified janitor.
Isn't it like really long to become a volunteer at the Rivoli too?
No, if you wanted to volunteer, I could probably squeeze you in a week or two. It's about an hour-long commitment.
Okay. And why do
Free
people
movie
want to
ticket.
volunteer there?
A lot of civic pride in Cedarburg. It really surprised me. When I first heard they were going to go to this, I was still working for Marcus Theaters when the Rivoli went independent. And I'm like, volunteers, it'll never work. They'll be closed down in a week. And lo and behold, a couple of years later, I was working for them. It was working so well.
Wow. So it's a discount theater, kind of.
Yes, it is a budget theater or a second-run theater.
Okay.
The movies we play are generally about 2 months old. So if you don't mind waiting 2 months, you can see the movie for $3.50 instead of $9 or whatever it costs.
Yeah, what's it cost to get some snacks there?
Our large popcorn's $4.
Oh, that's
Large soda popcorn combo $7.50.
That's a steal.
Fantastic for movie pricing.
We play mostly family movies and chick flicks and like Oscar nominated type movies. We don't play a lot of horror. We don't play enough action, in my opinion. We might play half of the Marvel movies, but we don't play most of the DC movies. We didn't play Doctor Strange, which I really wanted to see.
Yeah.
I assumed we were going to get it. We didn't get it.
No.
So I was all bummed out. I had to rent it like a sucker.
I was dating this chick and, I went to the Rivoli to see Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
The first one or the second one?
I think the first one, which it was actually not a half bad movie.
Chick flicks aren't that bad if you give them a chance.
Yeah, especially. Dude, it was a good movie, I think.
All right. Rock and roll, bro.
Did you ever see it?
No.
You saw it. You probably got 2 copies of it.
I actually didn't, which you would figure I was married at the time that I would have had to see that, but my ex-wife actually skipped over it. But I did have to see all the Twilight movies, including the very last one, a marathon from first to last.
Ooh, I hate the second Twilight.
Me too. New Moon.
New Moon is
It's the worst.
garbage.
I hate them all.
You hate them all. But you are a big fan of cinema. Tell us about what got you into cinema or why you're drawn to cinema.
It's not as interesting as you think it's going to be.
Come on, it's so magic.
The reason why I started working at a movie theater is because my brother already worked at the theater in Mequon, and he got me a job at the theater in Cedarburg.
Yeah, but didn't you like...
Well, I was already watching movies all the time. It's still the thing I like to do most to this day. If it's my night off, what do I want to do? I want to go home with my wife and watch a movie or something.
Okay.
So,
but you felt like that. I can't remember the name of the movie off the top of my head, but you like the magic of cinema. You were talking about that.
There was a movie called Hugo. That came out a couple years ago.
What you were talking
with
about.
Ben Kingsley and some kids who did a decent job acting.
Yeah.
Usually a child actor is it's going to ruin your movie.
Yeah.
But these kids did all right. The movie
when
talked
they're not
about
too busy killing deer.
It was like a movie about the turn of the century, guys who were first making movies. It showed that movie where like the guys get on the cannon and shoot themselves to the moon. I think that's available on Netflix. Super old black and white or colorized film. And, it just kind of showed the movie making magic back then because they had hand painted set pieces and giant optical illusions that they were using because it was just cheaper and easier to get a board and paint it to look like it's a cannon and push the shell in.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Would you ever want to get into acting or being part of a movie, like starring in, producing, directing?
I've done a very small amount of acting.
I've seen you.
A friend of mine.
I've seen your movie.
Yeah, a friend of mine
You kissed a
graduated
girl
from
in a movie.
UWM for writing. So every now and then he'll make movies just for fun to kind of stretch his writing muscles, and he'll cast all his friends. And I've been in 3 of his.
All right.
I used to work for him at the Rivoli, so actually all the cast are all people who used to work there, and all 3 of them take place at the Rivoli.
Okay.
So,
well, that's fun. With people having like a limited entertainment budget these days, do you think video games is creeping in on movies not doing as well?
I think movies aren't doing as well because Hollywood is spending too much money on movies. A movie like Paranormal Activity costs pocket change to make, and it makes millions of dollars.
Okay.
Or you can pour hundreds of millions of dollars into a movie like Justice League, and and you spend $300 million and then another $300 million just promoting it. Now you've got to make back $600 million on opening weekend or it's a failure. You're setting yourself up.
I've heard from multiple different people over the years reading books that really, if you want to actually profit on your movie, you have to bake 3 times over what your budget actually is to break even.
Yep.
So if they're spending $600 million on a movie, they pretty much have to make $1 billion or they're screwed.
They're paying too much for actors. They're paying too much for special effects. The sad thing is we could go down to local campus, round up some kids who are really good at digital rendering and do some halfway decent special effects for us. It looked just as good as anything in a Transformers film.
Okay.
But they paid millions of dollars for that.
So what do you think about the new streaming services that you can get the movies before they're even up?
I love them.
You love them?
Well, we do Netflix. We have Amazon Prime and Hulu, and we watch movies all the time. I prefer watching movies in the privacy of my own home. The number one reason people don't go to movie theaters is not the price, it's other people. It's loud. Okay. They don't want to hear people eating things behind them or kicking their chair or showing up to the movie late and blocking their view or whatever it is.
Huh. So how do you get people back to the movies? Hollywood's trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Drive-ins.
Well, drive-ins?
They need to come back. You can watch it from the privacy of your car. It's an experience. You get to go out, and they were not that expensive.
Yeah.
Drive-ins.
The Rivoli does all right as a second-run theater.
Yeah.
When I worked at Saukville, it's a 12-screen theater. We might get, when I worked there years ago, we might get 80 people on a Monday night, 12 screens, each one showing 3 or 4 times, so 36 plus shows, 100 people all night. That's all we get. At the Rivoli, 1 screen, 1 show, 7 o'clock, that's all we get. We'll get 60, 70 people.
Okay.
So it's competitive with what the 12 screen is not bringing in.
Yeah. You got any questions about the Rivoli there, Alan?
I not specifically the Rivoli, but what about working on the other side and being just a part of the cinema atmosphere helped bring a bigger or greater appreciation to movies for you?
Well, when I worked at the big 12-screen theaters, I got to see a lot of movies because 3 new movies start every week. So as an employee, they encourage you to watch them. So when people ask, hey, what's good? You can say, oh, go see this. I just saw it. It's great. So I saw a ton of movies when I was working at the big 12 screens. I don't remember most of them because most of them were garbage. But yeah, just seeing so many films, even things that I wouldn't have thought I would have had an interest in, and just watch it anyway because I'm off early on Friday. I got nothing to do. Let's watch this movie that came out. So,
do you notice yourself as time goes on and the exposure to movies you've gotten to see while working, you start to look at it less as a fan and more of like not necessarily a director, or a critic, but maybe somewhere along those lines?
Yeah, you start to see a lot of like tropes and things that repeat. One thing I love to do is get a DVD and watch the director's commentary track and get their intention and what they were trying to do, and sometimes to tell you some secrets of how they were able to twist things so the audience couldn't tell. Like the movie Gladiator, which I actually like, but half of that movie was filmed in like one room, and they just kept redressing it, shooting it from different angles, and putting new furniture in it, and until he told me that, on the director commentary, when Ridley Scott said that, I had no idea.
That's really cool.
So
I'm a big fan of that as well. I like to listen to the commentary track once I've watched a movie enough times to think I know what's going on, and then I like to watch it to see if my hypotheses are correct or if something completely blows me off the map that you weren't expecting.
It's the one thing I prefer about DVDs over Netflix is I can't get that commentary track. I have to go and I have to drop $30 just so I can hear the guy talk for 2 hours about his movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Well, tell us where we can find the Rivoli and stuff.
It's right in the middle of downtown Cedarburg. We don't have a parking lot, so you have to street park. So people always show up late and think they can just park anywhere, and there's nowhere to park.
It can be tough.
So, especially if there's something going on in Cedarburg, not just necessarily at the Rivoli, but there's a cultural center that does things. There's a bar right behind us that has live music some nights. So if you just come on a bad night, there's just nowhere to park.
Okay, how do we find out what movies are playing?
We have a website, rivoliofcedarburg.com. You could call the phone number, and I do the phone messages, so you'll hear my voice.
Oh, sweet.
It's 262-377-1010. You'll hear Mark's movie phone telling you what's playing that week.
Awesome.
And don't trust any other website. There's a lot of sites like Fandango or Yahoo Movies. We don't talk to them. Every now and then they'll screw something up, and people will show up at 7:30 for the movie that started at 7, and they're mad at me because somehow I did this to them.
Okay.
So don't go to the third-party sites. Ignore all that stuff and just get it right straight from the horse's mouth.
Excellent. All right, thank you. Time for everybody's favorite part of the program. Ask Alex anything.
I'm really hoping that's a lie.
Yeah, you think so?
I hope
That's the only
so.
reason why I'm here.
Yeah.
For this segment.
To ask Alex anything. All right. What is the difference between a freeway and a highway?
Freeway's the dude at the Bucks games.
Okay. And highways take you to the danger zone?
Yeah, exactly. There you go, kids.
I don't know. Well, damn, we're going to rip through these pretty quick, right?
Isn't a freeway literally what it is? It's a freeway where a highway can have a toll on it?
I thought that was a tollway.
Like,
Right, turnpike.
with the highway that goes into Illinois, like, that at the end of the highway, like, there is tollways for, like, when you actually enter it, that's the tollway.
Oh, so you think literally it's freeway?
I think that's where it came from, was a
You
freeway
can't toll it.
It's a free passage.
versus a highway.
I would purely speculate that maybe it's a state versus federal thing.
It's
It's a federal road,
That's
ergo
interstate.
states
Then
cannot
it's an
charge.
yeah,
Yeah.
federal interstate.
All right, so that should solve it.
Yeah.
How many cats is too many? I'm single with 3 cats. Am I considered a crazy cat lady?
You are at the limit. You go to 4, you are a crazy cat lady. I will accept 3. Anything more, you're insane.
Okay.
Unless you get a spouse.
Mark, what do you think?
Cats should not outnumber people.
Oh, there's another point for you.
I know a very lovely lady who's very normal, who has 3 cats, but she also won't be single forever. I know this too. So, I
She
say
may be the exception, not
3.
the rule.
It's true. I'd say 3 is the maximum per human.
So we can agree 4 is too many.
4 is way
4
too
is
many.
too many. What if you have a family of 10? Then 4 is fine?
Yeah,
Okay.
4 is okay.
I got a study here that says there's parasites in cat feces that changes the brains of rats and mice so they are attracted to cats. And this can also affect people, so
Yes.
that explains.
I've heard
I have heard
like all
similar.
of Brazil has this disease.
That's why Mark had to change the litter for, like,
Mind
7
control.
months.
Yeah, when Susan was with child, I had to take over the litter duty.
And then you
Scoop
just wanted more cats.
Yeah, more cats. They should outnumber us.
We need more cats. If you kept changing the litter, your tune would be changed. But there's another cool study. I don't have it in front of me, but it's about tigers. We should just eliminate cats, in my opinion, altogether. They're too dangerous.
They're very dangerous.
They were doing a study on why deer, like, kind of like this parasite shit, why they don't run away when tigers attack them. And there was a weird study that said tigers can shoot radio waves out of their head and paralyze you.
With fear?
Just stop you from moving. Like
Well,
mind
it's
control.
not hard to make a deer paralyzed with fear.
Deer in the headlights?
Yeah.
Deer in the headlights? Well, they only have cones, so when you hit the lights, all their nerves fire at one time. That's why they do that.
So
Or
maybe,
they only have rods, sorry.
so maybe instead of reintroducing wolves to Wisconsin, we should introduce tigers.
Just more freeways.
I will say, out of all things, you don't want to fight a deer. You don't want to fight a wolf. But lastly is I want to fight a giant cat.
Oh my god.
Because they can bite and their claws are powerful.
Yeah. Well, now it's like the fucking tiger is like half of the X-Men.
Yeah.
He's got beast claws. Wolverine claws. He's got beast mode. He's got fucking Professor X mind control.
Amazing agility and speed.
It's like the Milwaukee Lion.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
I went looking all over for that because I was... Well, I can't say. But
What do you think the Milwaukee Lion was?
nothing.
I figured it was just some drug dealer's expensive pet got out.
It went north.
Oh yeah.
Nort.
Went north.
Wait, Nort.
I don't know. Maybe it's still out there.
Dun dun dun.
Bum bum bum. All right. So maybe you're not a crazy cat lady. Maybe you're just sick with a parasite.
You might have a parasite.
It is interesting to think how did that evolve? Like, so I'm a disease, and I want to get into the cat. So I'm going to get into the mice, and I'm going to make the mice not afraid of the cat, so the cat will eat the mice, and then I'll be in the cat.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go into the cat's poop, so the mice come and eat the poop, and now the mouse has it again.
Sounds like
Isn't that the circle of life?
Is this like a Voldemort Horcrux situation? Like, what the hell's going on?
So yeah, how did that happen in nature? Like, I
Yeah. There's a lot of weird symbiotic
guess
relationships.
nature finds a way.
don't make sense. There you go. Movie quotes. Sweet. All right. Yeah, you're sick.
Sorry.
There you go. Sorry. But yeah, you can only now replace cats when they die. How many cats does it take to eat someone when they die?
Great question.
Because that happens.
Eventually.
How long?
Yeah.
If my dead body is in my house for a week, I bet you the cat will be licking the bones by the time you find him.
Yeah. Okay.
Give it 2 days.
And I have no problem with that. That's back to nature.
So how come you don't have a dog? Why do you have a cat then if you know it's going
I'm
to fucking
allergic
eat
to
you?
dogs.
Oh. I'm allergic to cats.
And dogs are more responsibility. You have to walk them. You have to let them out. I can just leave my cat for...
They love you.
A cat knows
all
how
day.
to go in a box
Exactly.
from day one.
Love you
Yeah,
unconditional.
self-training. It cleans itself. It poops in a box. All I have to do is scoop it.
Oh, so you'd rather have a box of shit in your house than a fucking...
There are pooper scooper laws, sir. If your dog
Then
takes a
going
dump,
out,
you gotta pick
then
it
going
up
out and
take
picking
it
up
home with
shit,
you.
Yeah.
Either way, you're picking up that
Or
poop.
you miss that shit in the fall and the leaves fall on it and you slip in the yard.
I've stepped in more dog shit than all of you combined. I guarantee it. Working construction.
Oh, I don't know. My neighbors had a dog fenced in the front yard, and we played football in that yard.
Every day.
Yep.
Blow out an ACL skidding and dog shit. I know that's happened.
Plenty of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Here we go. Do pedaling bikers deserve to ride on roads with cars?
This is a huge point of contention for me for the 10 years I lived in Madison, because I'm not shitting you. One of the few things that can actually get under my skin when I lived in Madison was this issue, because lots of bikers in Madison, it's like Wisconsin's China as far as like the people that use bikes per capita. And you can do anything, and a biker will look at you and go, "Bikers' rights." You want rights, then you want to drive in the street, then you follow the same fucking laws as the cars.
I could not
Stop.
agree more. Rules of the road. I almost killed a guy because he didn't yield to me. He was turning left. I was turning right. He decided just to go in front of me.
Right.
And I'm like, my car's like 100 times the size of you. I'm going to win this fight.
Right.
I have the right of way.
Yeah, like a yappy dog. Why
Yeah.
are you fucking barking at me? I'm...
My experience in Madison was bikers would always cry foul. They want all the same rights, but they don't obey the signs.
Yeah,
So it's like
they don't want to follow the rules.
They're running stop signs. They're not like even doing a check at a yield sign. But then if the car impedes, oh my God, foul, stop. Like,
Yeah.
I have rights. I'm a biker.
Yeah.
I don't mind them on the road, but they got to follow the same rules as cars.
Even that.
Because I don't need to know a second set of rules for
Right.
bikers.
And Madison is very devoted to having lanes on pretty much every street for bikers, and they're green. Stay in your bike lane that's designated for you. You stop at the red light just like everybody else does. You stop at the stop sign like everybody else is, and you look every way. You treat a four-way stop the same, but instead, they come right through. And if you exercise your right as a driver, they'll call you out on it every time.
Wow.
It was a really big pain in the ass. Not kidding you, where I used to live, you were at my old house in Madison. Those paths that went through the park,
Yeah.
when it was a snowstorm, they wouldn't plow the street, but the city would plow those paths
I
so that
remember.
bikers could have
Madison is an
all,
ice storm.
so they could have the bike trails, but we're not doing the roads for the cars.
Yeah, you literally drive on a foot of ice in Madison.
Yeah, because they don't salt because of the lakes, so they use
Sand?
It's 70% sand, 30% salt.
That's what they use in Minnesota.
So no ice gets melted. I lived at the bottom of a hill, but at least the bike paths were pristine, so all the bikers could.
But
bike.
you take your car up on the bike path, and suddenly you're a bad guy.
right.
You just hop on a bike and you become an asshole.
Yeah,
That's what happens.
yeah, and I will say, in Milwaukee, you don't deal with that as much, even in the heavy bike populations. I have not had issues with bikers in Milwaukee. Madison, it was a daily issue. So that's just me personally, but
Okay.
that's my experience.
I feel like, because I drive on a lot of country roads, and it always seems to happen where this guy, he only gets a little bit. There's no bike lanes. And I'm like, why do I have to swerve into the other lane, whether a car
Going
is coming?
60 on a country road.
Because you're, I don't want to whiz by you really close. Wait a minute, you shouldn't be on this road.
Yeah.
Do I have to hit the brakes or stop? Oh, a reoccurring guest is back.
She's a big biker, apparently.
Oh, she likes the
She's
bikes.
got something to say.
So yeah, I think that's unfair. Like, dude, why am I swerving in and out of traffic? Because
Is that the law that you have to do that? I
You have to
assumed
give
it was
them-
just a politeness thing.
You have to give them
I'm-
3 feet, I believe.
But what if there's a car coming in the other lane? You're
Gonna have to come.
just
to an
gonna cause
abrupt
a
stop.
high-speed collision?
Yeah.
The
Worst
worst
case-
is when it's on a hill or like a turn
And you
on a
can't
country
see what's
road.
coming at you when you
Right.
have to move over.
You
Just
can't
like when
see
you
and you
pass.
can't slow down enough to. It's just. I've had a couple really scary situations like that with bikes on like a hill or a turn where you can't see.
I used to jog on country roads up at my parents' house when I was like in college and high school, and a lot of people wouldn't move over when they'd go by me. You got to jog into traffic. It's not like when you're biking, you bike with traffic, but you walk or jog against traffic so you can see the cars coming. In case they're going to kill you, you can jump out of the way. But people don't move over when you're
Or
jogging.
just Hulk punch it to the ground, like I would do.
Twilight punch.
Yeah.
Punch that car.
So, all right. I don't know. Bike laws are.
You got to follow the same rules.
You got to follow the rules.
If you have to be in the road, you obey the rules of the road like
I've
everybody
never.
else.
I think I've seen one time in my life somebody do one of those hand arm.
Right. Very.
signals.
Yeah. Very
You thought they
rarely.
were just showing off.
Yeah. I'm like, what is
Look,
this?
no
do?
arms!
Fucking asshole. Fuck you back, man. I'm not flipping you off. All right. We got one more before we get the marks. I got stuck doing a secret Santa gift exchange. I have a hard time buying gift cards and useless gifts. Can you give me an idea on a useful present to buy a coworker? $10 limit.
First of all, I hate Secret Santas
Yeah.
and gift exchanges in general. I have to know.
A bottle of Clan McGregor?
Yeah, first thought, booze.
These bottles of
Phillips screwdriver.
Yeah.
It is a weapon. Protect yourself.
It's a tool.
Everybody always needs a Phillips screwdriver.
It's a sex toy in a pinch.
If you lock your keys in the car, you can get it open. Phillips screwdriver, hands down.
I would have to know this coworker.
But you can't
tendencies.
because it's secret.
Well, you know who you have, though.
Oh, I thought.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's like the white elephant
you
style
draw-
where everyone repicks, or you're assigned a person.
You draw a name, so then they don't know it's you.
Sorry, all this work lingo's got me like not knowing what's up.
So, like I mentioned in a previous episode, when it comes to gift giving, I don't do holidays or birthdays. I remember what we talk about, and I'm like, that would mean something to that person, and then I would get it for them. So I'd have to know that person's personality. So, being in a professional workplace, I feel you can never go wrong with, like, I know she, like, I'm assuming it's a she. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's probably profiling. But
How dare you, sir?
They don't like gift cards, but usually, do the coffee gift card and stuff like that. Because
What about a lottery ticket?
you can always do $10 in lottery tickets. It could change a fortune.
Stay
Change
away
your
from
life.
the gift credit card. Those things are scams.
those-
Yeah, I hate those things.
Yeah, I have a lottery ticket. Here, I've decided
10
to
$1
gamble.
lottery tickets.
Right.
Yeah, I've decided to gamble away this money for you.
So
What about $10 cash?
when you make $8 million, I want
Whatever,
all my
Grandma.
$10 back.
Whatever. I give
you a
my
$5
nieces and
bill.
nephews cash. Used anywhere, never expires.
But even though it's $10, I would say if you know this coworker, try and find something with their personality or something that they talk about that would surprise them, so they actually make them think that, oh, they actually listen when I talk.
Yeah.
And it'll strengthen your bond.
Well,
in the
if you're
workplace.
me, have a homeless guy sing Careless Whisper twice. Or play it on a saxophone. Twice for me. There you go, $10. All right, Mark, what do you got for Ask Alex Anything?
All right, this is kind of out of left field. We just had a kind of a baby shower type event. We just went to a baby shower type event as well today, actually. And Susan and I were discussing like thank you cards.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to meet anyone younger than me or my age who cares about thank you cards, but it's really important to our aunts and our uncles.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that is.
So
a
where do you
generational
fall on that? Like if you hand me the gift and I say thank you, Alex, thank you, do I still have to go and write a piece of paper that says thank you again and mail it to you?
For me, absolutely not. I'm not a fan of the thank you cards because I don't like to do cards either, just like the gifts. Like if I want to thank somebody or I want to tell somebody something, I will buy a blank card and I will write my own thing. But like, I'm in your camp with that. If I thank you personally, if I come up to you, like, thank you really means a lot. If I got to write a card too, fuck that, because I just gave you my sincere thanking.
Yeah, what's
So,
better
like,
than in person?
Right. Like an actual face-to-face, thank you, I really appreciate what you did for me today. I'm not writing you a card.
I did a lot of personalized special thank yous for my college graduation that everybody liked.
Yeah, but when I get thank you notes, I look at it, I see it's handwritten, I read half of it, I throw it away.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, sorry. I'm evil.
Yeah. I got family members though, like mom,
Oh, yeah, like my
aunts and uncles.
yeah.
Like, you didn't write me a thank you card. You got me a movie that I asked for on a list because you had to, because of our little
I think that's
function.
different, though. Like college graduation, like that meant a lot to you,
Mhm.
and to
I gave you
describe
guys thank
somebody
you.
like, and to like really, yeah, those I keep. Like there, every once in a while, I'll get a letter, and I think letters are different than thank yous.
Yeah.
And whereas, like for example, a wedding thank you, because we lost our box of wedding thank yous. We went to every table and spent a lot
You
of
didn't
time
lose
saying,
mine.
thank you for coming.
Yeah, we sent like
You
a
know,
dozen,
really
and then we lost the box in a move.
But we lost the box.
We
so
bought a
never
house.
sent
Oh, I thought
3
it was
weeks
supposed
after
to
the wedding.
send you a thank you.
So
Oh, no, we're supposed to thank you.
we're supposed to thank you. So I mean, that's where it's like that's postage. It's another one, and literally a lot of times it's like I remember where you got us, but I know you came, and I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you for the gift. I'm not going to specify what it was.
Yeah.
Love, Mark.
It took me days to write all those personal thank yous. Put a lot into it.
Yeah.
And now some dick like Mark just throws it right in the fireplace.
That is correct.
Still, it's
I got some free
different.
kindling.
I agree with Susan. It's a little different scenario with that one. Like, you know, like gifts and things that, you know, you have to do. Like grandma and grandpa buy everybody Christmas presents when you're a kid. You're not writing them a thank you card.
Okay. I gave thank yous to professors that wrote recommendations for me.
Sure.
Different.
That's a professional transaction, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think someone who gave you a glass vase?
A vase you didn't ask for.
Yeah, we didn't ask for it. It's a very nice vase, but we don't really use vases.
We're not into flowers.
We're not into flowers because they die right away. But
Did they at least have the receipt tucked in it so you could go
no,
get some cash?
no. But I do remember spending a great deal of time at the table with them saying, hey, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. Here's a meal and enjoy life.
It's our generational thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But they got you this glass vase. So do you say, you sit down, thank you for the glass vase. It will be great on...
I put some pretty flowers in it.
It will be
Here's
great
our
at
picture.
our rummage sale.
In 20 years.
In 20 years.
Desk in our kitchen.
A white elephant
Yeah.
or something
It's
else.
going to Goodwill in a year because we gotta space it out just in case you go to that Goodwill.
Yeah.
We got to drive 3 counties over to give it to a Goodwill.
Yeah.
When I go to Green Bay, I'm going to use their Goodwill. I got a trunk full of shit.
That's awesome. All right, I think we can wrap it up. How we doing here, Mom? Yeah? All right, Alex, you got your everything list? Your
My
good?
everything list?
your own...
It's out there.
Yeah, you don't.
But you can find us at TomandAlexUniverse.com. We'll have all the stuff from the Rivoli Theatre that Mark shared with us today, because our tech girl, Molly, will put that up. How you doing today, Molly?
Wonderful.
You can get us on Twitter at the Unipodcast or at Facebook.com/whatever. I don't even know. I'm not looking at the sheet
Yeah,
for
you
that
got
one.
the
I don't
sheet,
got
man. I
that.
told you.
But look us up on Facebook. I got 2 out of 3. Meatloaf always said that ain't bad. So
And thank you to our guest, Mark Majewski. How do you properly pronounce it?
give us the.
We say Majewski.
Oh,
Yeah, but what was the Polish?
I think it was Majewski.
Majewski.
Mark Majewski.
I like that.
I kind of like
It's
that.
way more distinct.
Oh, there's a family story I can tell you about that.
Okay, bonus content, family story.
Majewski.
No, not
Later?
right now. We
Okay.
got to cut this
Bonus
shit off.
content.
Yeah, we got to
Mark's
stop
family
this.
history.
We got to stop the bleeding here, universe.
All right, thank you, Universe. You can always donate for us, and we are never good enough.